What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. G, first time host for today's episode of Strawhat Podcast, of the Strawhat Sitdown. My goodness, already messing up. I
It's all
am
good.
Callie cannot be here, and neither could D3 or Black Hawk. They will be hopefully joining us next week, and we still got to get the show going. But today we have my boys, always here, reliable. Fucking love you guys. Yhuss and Straw Hat Mod, baby. Let's go.
Let's
hmm
go. What's
Let's,
good, y'all?
all
You know
right.
it, man. You know it.
So, big chapter today, right?
Yes,
Big,
sir.
big, big, big chapter. We have the summary, and then I'll start the summary, and then after that we'll get into some discussion on what we think. Whatever you guys. Well, oh man, there's a lot about this chapter that happened.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
oof, sorry. And if you guys see a cat, that is my cat Haru. I apologize.
Gotta make a cameo. It's all good. You got it.
So,
Yeah, I know those issues myself all too well.
no, I got three cats. We could talk about that after. All right. So without further ado, guys, let's do this uh One Piece chapter 1045 review titled Next Level.
Yes, sir.
Oof. Hold on. I wanna. All right. The chapter opens with Kaido and Luffy on the roof. Kaido acknowledges that Luffy has awakened his paramecia fruit, but comes to the realization that his body transformation is the trademark of Zoan powers. Ooh. Oh man, how do I? My bad.
Would you look
How
at
do I
me?
turn off?
I'm setting records.
How do I turn off follows and stuff? Sorry, guys.
That's all
No,
good,
you're
man.
fine. You're fine.
Shout out to for another first time chat, my man. I am bro. My goat actually. What's up, man? Excited to be chatting with y'all.
Ooh. Uh. All right. How do I turn off notifications like for them to pop up? Do you guys know by any chance?
No, no clue, bro. But I think you
Where do
just
you what are you dealing
Streamlabs
with?
OBS.
Streamlabs?
Yeah.
What pop-ups do you mean?
I think I heard it go off, but I don't think it popped up on the
Oh,
on the stream
you talking
actually.
about no you talking about just notifications for like follows and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Uh crap. I would have to pull up Streamlabs
All
to
right, don't worry. We'll just rock with it. All right, I'm gonna start over. Sorry, guys.
all
All
good.
right.
You're fine. You're fine.
So the chapter opens up with Kaido and Luffy on the roof. Kaido acknowledges that Luffy has awakened his paramecia fruit, but comes to the realization that his body transformation is the trademark of Zoan powers. As Kaido laughs, Kaido then bites and gulps down Luffy. The Luffy begins to wreak havoc within Kaido's inside. He uses Gum Gum Balloon and expands within Kaido, who also expands with him. Meanwhile, on the outside, you have Yamato and Momo both vexed and perplexed as to what is going on right now, stating that Yamato, especially, this is their father. I have never seen that form of Kaido before, right? Next thing you know, Kaido then states puzzled, "Curses! What's wrong with me? My body isn't made of rubber," confirming that Luffy is also turning his body into rubber. While inside, Luffy then uses his hands to stretch Kaido's eyes to his nose and pull himself out of Luffy's mouth using Gum Gum Escape Rocket. Like out of like it was ridiculous. Like out of a comic like Looney Tunes and everything. Luffy then uses his own breath to propel himself into the clouds and comes back down using Gum Gum Giant, turning into a giant to everyone's surprise. Also, it kind of reminded me like a little throwback to Luffy's giant shadow in Skypia. You know what I mean? Like at the end of
Yo,
Skypia, right?
facts,
Yes, and then
facts.
seeing him come down, like, but even though Kaido was surprised, he goes on the offensive. He bites on Luffy. As quickly as Kaido bit him, Luffy reacted with the counterattack. He did a dragon rush real quick. He said, "Nah, I'm grabbing your head and your tail. And we using this as a jump rope, falling from the sky to the dome." It was ridiculous. As they're falling, Kaido, before he hits the ground, does a blast breath. Jesus, my cat just hit my keyboard. Goodness gracious.
He trying to get into the action, man.
Oh my goodness. Kaido, before hitting the dome, frees himself with a blast breath and sends Luffy flying. Now, Luffy is fully black from being charred from the attack as Zoro wakes up. Never mind. Luffy does the Looney Tunes spinning legs. Straight out of Looney Tunes, man. It was beautiful. And he charges with flames following him in his path, kind of reminding me of Apollo, the Greek god Apollo, in his chariot, as like there's always flames following him, since Luffy is the sun god. Um, Charges at Kaido, who then uses three world conquest Ragnaroku to knock Luffy's head into the Skull Dome. As Luffy's head pops into the Skull Dome, we see Law, Kid, Chopper, and Otama's eyes popping out of their faces in surprise. They cannot believe what they just saw. Right? But as that happens, Luffy pulls himself back through, as Kaido remarks, it's like something out of a comic strip. Which was very surprising for me. I like that One Piece has comics in their world. Kaido comes out stating that Luffy has reached his limit. Luffy is clearly gassed and running out of steam as he is losing his fifth gear form and looking like a decrepit old man, while Kaido also falls to his knees out of exhaustion. Momo notes, Luffy's voice is dying out. Kaido tells him to basically give up, and similarly to the conversation with Odin at his end, says that tales will be told about how the Alliance fought this war and his battle with Luffy. But Luffy, with gusto, like Odin before him, gives a similar response and says, who cares about that? Luffy then says, we're not done yet. Isn't that right? Momo, Tama, Kinemon, Pedro? After all this, do you really think like something like that could scare me? And rouses his heartbeat while returning to Gear 5th form. Yamato cries out to Luffy to watch out, as he immediately takes two swings from Kaido that warps his physical actual being in a very cartoony way. But Luffy uses that moment to jump to the rocks and rockets at Kaido, spinning his arms. As Luffy approaches him, Kaido questions what in the world Luffy is, noting that this pure white transformation is coated with armament and conqueror's haki, influences anything around him with his ability. He fights with such freedom, so versatile. I have never seen anything like it, he says to himself, as he then yells out, there is no one in the world who could defeat me. As Luffy approaches, he swings his arm and punches Kaido's face so hard you can see his hand pushing through Kaido's head. And as Kaido falls to the ground, Luffy states, I'm having the time of my life, Kaido. Hee hee, with the grin, baby. And that is the end of chapter 1045. And no break next week, guys. No break. Let's go.
No break. Wow.
Woo! Oh, wow. Sorry for the stops, but we got through it.
Oh, great summary, man. I love the passion, bro. We appreciate that. That shit was crazy, bro. That stuff was crazy. But man, what a chapter, man.
I was working on that all night.
Well, you went hard, bro. It paid off, man. Yo, Strawhat, what are your thoughts, man? Immediately, bro, after reading that and hearing this summary.
Okay, so so first of all, I wanted to just tell you, like, remember when you said last time that you don't think that it's gonna like stay like this?
I remember saying that.
Yeah, like I don't know, bro. It looks like that might be here to stay whenever Luffy hits Gear 5th, maybe.
Facts.
There might be a time where you get serious, but I just wanted to point out something that I thought was interesting. That kind of makes me feel like Luffy at this point is like, I don't know. This might be a stretch to say, honestly, but I feel like Luffy might be like joking around in a sense that like, because honestly, he went Gear 5th, and to the naked eye, he looks like he's just like still kind of getting walked around a little bit, but at the same time, he's like kind of messing around with Kaido too is at the same time. But there was an interesting point at the end of towards the end where when Luffy restarted Gear 5th, if you notice at the very bottom panel where he like restarted Gear 5th and stuff like that and kind of went for the swing, and Yamato was like, Luffy, watch out. If you look at that bottom part, he sees it says glare, and he's like smiling too, like Chuck, like a confident grin, like he's looking like, oh, here he comes, and then Kaido actually lands the hit on him, and he's like, yeah, or whatever. That like the fact that he is like tracking still all of Kaido's like swings and stuff like that, or he's like, or it's implying at least that he's very aware that like the swing was coming, but he didn't try to dodge or nothing like that. I feel like he's like still kind of capping on what he can do. Like
Yeah. Plus, like Yamato called out to him right before it, right? So, like, he definitely
yeah.
had so much awareness about that, but still took it. Yeah, I do wonder, like, whether I think is it him like just testing what he can take and stuff.
Yeah, because he just looked at it. He looked so confident too when it was like that confident, like ha, like,
Yeah, he had a
but then,
smile. Yup, yup.
yeah, and then like just still got hit, and I'm like confused, like, is Luffy capping right now? Like, I don't, I don't yeah, but
Hmm.
yeah, and he was like and he was capping too to Frieza because like for a while he was just like he wanted Frieza to get stronger to shut down like any thoughts in Frieza's head that he might win. Uh it's just very interesting to me that like this is the that like it's just so interesting because like Luffy, first of all, remember when we thought that like Luffy's gear 5th, we don't know if he's like consciously aware of it or not. I feel like at this point he is. It- because he even recognizes the his heart the drum beat pattern for when gear 5th actively starts. What was he saying? He was like, yeah, that's the heartbeat, that's the sound, like da 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 da, like so even though this is a transformation and this is like a little bit more on the goofy side, like I don't know, I think Gear 5th is like the ultimate like euphoria or something, like you in the midst of battle, you feel good. It's like the ultimate high. You on cloud nine. You're like shit. Everything's good, bro. Like,
Yeah, I think something interesting, like one of the most interesting lines in a while, I feel like, was last chapter when they said like all zones have a will of their own, right? And then
hmm
Luffy when he hits Gear 5, like Luffy is always like not that like 100% like deadpan serious, like, but this level of just having fun, laughing, like not taking stuff too seriously, like this is even new for him, right? So I think maybe we're seeing a little bit of like a personality of maybe like Joy Boy or Sangai Nika or whatever, right? Like I feel like now all those theories that devil fruits have souls or whatever, like kind of are coming a bit clearer. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
feel like I
think
could see a lot of that.
I
Mm.
think that's like also very interesting too. The whole souls have devil fruits thing. So like I saw at one point where um like y'all know who BDA Law is, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah. So when this chapter came out and he did his review, he said that like this for him, this is like because he interpreted the line where Kaido said like it seems you it seems like you have a paramecia fruit. I would want to say you do, but this feels like a Zoan devil fruit awakening. And BDA Law interpreted that as like, well, uh the reason why he probably said that was because like Zoan's like the whole devil fruit spirit stuff like that, like does he know about the spirit of Zoans and how that like ties back in and stuff like that. I think that's a little bit of a deep interpretation. It personally for me I think it's a little bit more shallow, and the reason why I say that is because like is remember when I said last week that like this changes how we should look at like awakenings in general, especially for like Zoans and mythical Zoans, because Kaido is a mythical Zoan, so he would know what that would look like. And just like how I said that like regular Zoans is a power up, like just in general, you get stronger, more endurance, more speed, etc., etc. Luffy is like doing a power up. This is equivalent to a transformation. I'm pretty sure mythical Zoans, when they awaken, they transform or something like a power up, but just to an even higher level than a regular Zoan. It's not just simply a stat boost.
Mhm.
It's a full fledged transformation. So that's why I think Kaido said that, because for him, he's looking at Luffy. He's like, okay, your surroundings are you changing your surroundings to rubber, but you yourself, like, because no paramecia, they don't like change in appearance. They just yeah. So Kaido probably looked at Luffy and was like, yeah, like right, exactly.
Mhm.
Um, so and I think that like that's also very just interesting for the story altogether, because um going forward, right, we should see a lot more myth, because I think this is the first mythical Zoan awakening, right? That we seen.
Okay, well, we actually know that zones have awakenings though. Like the impel down guards, those like the Minotaur and stuff. They were apparently awakened zones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know Straw's asking specifically for the mythical zones, and this is the first one that we've seen. Yeah, for sure. And I like to what you were saying earlier about that line that kind of had. I definitely think that yeah, like BDA's was a bit of a stretch, just because in the official, I think this is like it makes it way more clear. He says so we're affecting your surroundings, which is a paramecia thing, but but body transformations are a zone thing. Like he says that
Mm,
specifically. Um,
yeah.
Mr. I'm saying your mic is muted by the way. Um, but
Word. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you. I guess
Yeah.
stream couldn't hear you or whatever.
Oh
But
no. What did they miss?
let me turn you up, bro.
I gotta stop pressing buttons.
Yeah, but yeah,
Just like in
stream.
fighting games.
Yeah, I just checked. Stream can hear me and Mod though.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so yeah, I guess Aram could just tell you when you're good. But so yeah, so I think it makes it way more clear. I don't. If I had a train of thought after that, I don't have it anymore. So let me just flip to what I was gonna say about um, like Luffy's lines in this chapter. I think we're like I was saying in the Twitter chat, where I think the best lines in Wano for him personally. Like Callie brought up the Udon prison mines, which I also thought was very peak Luffy. You know,
Yes.
like some very sick moments. But like this specifically in the original TCB translation, not the official one. The official is not bad, but I like the original TCB because he says
Agreed.
he particularly says. Like the lines where he says, "Isn't that like isn't like there's no way we're done yet? Isn't that right, Mom?" And then he recalls all the people he has promises to and who had a hand in this. So Mama,
Yep.
Momo, Tama, Kinemon, and then he says Pedro. And I know it took everyone off guard. No one expected him to say Pedro there. Like even though it was, like it makes so much sense for him to say it there.
It
Like
does. It does.
we were like, "Whoa, Pedro! Damn, this guy! Like it runs deep. You know, he's never gonna
Bro,
forget."
yeah, exactly. He is never gonna forget that Pedro sacrificed himself for them, bro. Especially
Yeah,
for and even though it happened in Wano, Whole Cake, it was all for this.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly,
it was all
exactly.
for
Yeah,
this moment.
Yep.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like
Uh,
he literally like put his life on the line, like gave it away for like the shots to get away. And you know it's funny because I don't think Luffy was there when that happened, unless I'm. Oh no, I'm
no,
bugging.
he
I think he was.
was, he
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
was,
yeah. He was there. He was definitely there. I was thinking about when Luffy was in the mirror world, but no,
and
Luffy
then
was definitely there.
that
And mm,
that's when Luffy break then like after they go, he breaks
he
the
goes in. Yeah, he goes into it and then he
Whole
breaks it.
Cake's
Yeah, I
cut it.
remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So like that's and this was the I feel like Pedro was one of the first people to use the phrasing "guide the world to its dawn."
okay,
Or like Dawn of the World. I feel
yeah.
like Pedro is one of the first people to say that stuff, and which we know is obviously a huge um portion of Luffy's role in the world now and history. So he was one of those people that was like um
He bet it all on him,
he
bro.
bet it all on them, and like yo, I remember in the Roger flashback, I didn't expect this in the Oda flashback, but when he asked Roger, he's like, can I be a pirate with you guys? And he says you're on standby. You're next up. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, stop it.
And
So
oh god,
mhm,
it's so good. Keep going. Sorry.
all good. To see this shout out in this chapter is like, man, I love like Luffy. To me, my favorite thing about Luffy is that he has grown a lot ever since the time skip, and he has, and especially in Wano, it's more clear how much of a leader he is. But this specifically was like, man, Luffy. This is why I love Luffy so much post time skip. He remembers the burdens are on his shoulders.
Yes.
For this, I love that shit. It was so
Oh,
so good.
dude,
Mhm.
I love Luffy.
Mhm.
That's how I was confused. Like, I saw people on Twitter and stuff saying like, why did Luffy bring up Pedro? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, it makes perfect sense. What do you mean? Like, like Pedro saw what happened to on Zo, right?
Mhm.
He was there, and like you said, he was on standby. He's like, this is what I gotta do, because he believed that Luffy was it, and look at it, his fucking belief was right.
Yeah,
You know,
he's Joy Boy, bro.
Joy
Wow.
Boy, baby.
Yeah. So I this is like this chapter was like I had a feeling it would be a lot of like it would just be scrapping. You know what I'm saying?
They were
Like no more
scrapping, boy.
scenarios, but
They were.
they were going hard, man. I guess we can talk about Luffy's his core abilities. We see like the like not the obviously not the full extent probably, but like we see the core abilities of his awakening. And I think I get like I feel like I've heard a lot of people like I read a post on Reddit last night, and I was like someone was like saying how man I was wrong. I thought Luffy's people had me believing Luffy's ability was bending reality and stuff like that, and it's really just rubber. Like it's just
It
the
is.
awakening's abilities of obviously other than him actually changing how he looks with the fiery hair and stuff and the white transformation. Like he's just like him becoming huge. That's like him having free ability of his body, of his rubber body, right? Um, him a lot letting Kaido stretch his body, you know, like stretching within Kaido, making Kaido stretch. Like I think he put his hands through his eyes. He didn't put them through, but he just stretched his eyes forward, right?
Yes. Yes.
Rocking forward. And then in the chapter, when he puts his hand through his head, when he punches Kaido, he's not putting his hand through. He's not murking him. You know what I'm saying?
No.
He's just punching him so hard, turning him into rubber, like you know, like putting his hand that far into his rubber, like and letting him making Kaido's face stretch. Pause. So I think that like this is, and again, that's one part of his awakening. And then we have um him affecting Kaido, like Kid affected Big Mom with magnetism. That's
Yes.
another part of it. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
basically
Yes.
trying to get at is that, and then him manipulating the ground last chapter. We have him with Mythical Zone awakening. He's using all the forms of paramecia that we've seen.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just rubber.
Yep.
Like it's not like nothing's changing. You know what I'm saying?
It's super.
Yeah,
Not something new.
the only thing he's really missing is like the Logia invincibility or whatever. But I mean, it it's whatever. It's not like critical or anything like that.
Yeah.
But uh like the fact that like yeah, what you were talking about earlier about Luffy turning giant, how big was that? Like
Yo.
Huge.
that was
Huge.
like a big thing because that like there was a lot of like One Piece theories and stuff like that about Luffy becoming giant for like Gear 5th or something like that, or just like in general like that was going to be Gear 5th. I'm glad that that's like not just it, and that's just a part of it. Like he
Yeah.
can become a giant if he
Yep. Yep. Yep.
wants, but like that's like just huge because giants in One Piece have always been portrayed as like the top tier type of like if
Race.
you want
Yeah.
to have a generic, yeah, if you want to have like some type of generic fighter unit or whatever, the best one would be like giants,
Mhm.
hands down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that Luffy could turn giant, that's huge within itself, like a big like W for the One Piece community, theorists and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
a long
'Cause,
time coming for sure.
yeah, and,
That was really dope.
and also on top of that, the fact that his awakening is I mean, the fact that he could turn things into rubber and just like remove things like that are rubber just like that and stuff like that. That means a lot for the story going forward.
It
Because
does.
I know like a lot of people had the also the theory that, I mean, this is like stretching far out of the Wano situation, but uh the the red line will be destroyed
Mhm.
theory.
Yeah.
Like, and part of it like some people, believe that like, oh, okay, either Luffy could protect the red line from Blackbeard if Blackbeard like because if Luffy's the one that's destined to remove the red line or whatever, Blackbeard like has his like guru to destroy things. You know, Luffy can counter it with his crazy rubber abilities in Awakening and stuff like that, um and then on top of that, like Luffy says he could just like kind of remove things like kind of easily. Maybe he could do something similar to the red line, maybe. But
So, real quick, Strawhat, what so that our audience knows, what is the red line theory?
okay, so the theory this depends on whatever the One Piece is, of course, but
Mhm.
long time theory is that the One Piece itself, like the goal of the One Piece, is to remove the red line because the red line, if you've seen the One Piece map, the red line is at the dead center.
Okay.
So there's like, if I don't know if someone will want to pull it up or not, but so the blue the four seas are separated by this red line: east, south, north, west, all that. And then at the dead center is the grand line, and it's in between the calamity belts. I mean the I mean not calamity belts, calm belts.
Hmm.
So um and the calm belts is what keeps you from being able to just straight up entering the grand line. If you try to enter the grand line through the calm belt, there's no currents, there's no wind or anything like that, so your ship is destined to just sit there for all eternity and or get eaten by a sea king, because that's where the sea kings live. So you have to go through the red line to get into the grand line, and the red line is the only thing that separates um all the seas. If the seas are separated like that, the world government has much more control over like how information spreads, how they control populations and everything like that. The goal is to remove the red line so that everybody could congruently come together and in unison. Now, whether the red line is actually man-made, like that was planned, or whether that was like some type of natural disaster that was like, or some type of work of a devil fruit or something like that, whatever the case may be, the point is to get rid of the red line so that like, for example, people believe that the red line is, if you get rid of the red line, that's the all blue, because that's how all the fishes would be able to come together. Like the all blue is connected directly uh to the goal of the One Piece, which is to create a world where everybody's together. If you destroy the red line, all the fishes could come together, and that's the all blue. That yeah. So, and for a long time, people thought that one of the things that people thought Luffy could do to remove the red line is like, if he has some type of either, and and like I said, there's multiple theories about how Luffy would do it, whether it's his own power, whether it's uh uh shoot, what are they called again?
Ancient weapons.
Yeah, ancient weapons. The One Piece itself is some type of weapon. Like just
Yeah, so many
multiple.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many theories about like how Luffy would do it. But this is kind of like one of those things because giants, or they had the raw strength. If like
Bro,
giants if giants in unison could like attack the red line, maybe or something, you know. So
that makes so much sense because especially with like the comparison of Blackbeard and Luffy, right? So we have the darkness fruit, we have the sun. Now we also have the earthquake stuff with the rubber. Like Blackbeard trying to destroy the red line makes sense, and then Luffy turning it into rubber to withstand the tremors. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. That's immediately
I
what I'm
think
thinking right now.
yeah, it could be like wherever they meet up,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
Black wherever they end up scrapping. Blackbeard says, you
Ooh,
know, fuck this, like I'm about to go crazy. Tries to like use the Gura fruit, and Luffy
bro.
counters it with awakening or whatever. Like, so I think that would be like I feel that was the first thing like from like ever since we saw awakening
Bro.
in Dressrosa, everyone was like, okay, this is how Luffy's gonna beat Blackbeard. Okay, like this is how they're like diametrically opposed, right? And and I was always thinking, I'm like, okay, that's a good point. But I'm glad Oda has had this whole Sun and Darkness thing. Like I feel like that's a way better opposing like way to have them opposed. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of just thematically and stuff. I thought that was really really
It
cool.
does. And then it brings up the whole like fake sun thing, like Ace being the being the fire fruit at the time, Blackbeard thinking that he was the sun. Like,
Yeah.
oh dude, it's so much.
Yeah, and
Oda's
like yeah,
OD.
the idea of how Whitebeard wanted Ace to be Pirate King, and people have had the idea about like I think we talked about it last time. Let's say if Shanks wanted to give the fruit to Ace, um, and that was the plan back then. I guess that's a very popular theory right now, right? So, like it's like you said, like Luffy being the real son in the end, like it's so bro. I
It's
can't
so perfect.
I could go. I was talking about how like there's so much sun foreshadowing and
So much.
the motifs and stuff like that. Like back in Alabasta, if he called them the light at the end of the sea or whatever, something like that in her speech at the end. So like it's just so much to point on that this has been a thing Oda has been planning on at least in some capacity
For
for
the
like a
longest, from the
super long
beginning,
time.
really. Heck,
Yeah,
the
exactly. Like
what was the beginning arc? Damn, I cannot think of it. Something with the dawn, right?
Romance Dawn.
Romance Dawn,
Romance dawn, like
Romance Dawn. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
like,
one thing that I noticed, because Doflamingo wasn't able to turn people into
See, that,
string.
that, that that's what I was kind of trying to get at when I was talking about how Luffy's awakening has so many abilities. Like
Yeah,
we've
bro,
seen
it's
we've
ridiculous.
seen the regular ability where he turns stuff around him into rubber, but we also saw how Kid's awakening had affected Big Mom. Like it was a
Yeah,
he was
he
putting
was
his
able to
magnetism on
manage.
other people, right?
Yeah,
That's like Luffy did that to Kaido. Like so, like we can see how Paramecia awakenings have different types of how what's the word manifestations.
okay.
That's at least how it seemed to me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Um,
Or is just Luffy that much further ahead than
He's the
Doflamingo
goat,
now?
bro. He's
I
the
mean,
goat,
he is
bro.
the GOAT.
That is the goat, bro. That's how it is. But
He is a god now.
yo, for real, literally, man. But so like Shah said in the beginning, is Oda taking this Toon stuff to a whole nother level. This chapter, it's like there's a lot of ways. Like the panel of like Kid, Law, Chopper, Nami,
Oh, bro,
Alma, their eyes
Oh
pointing out.
man.
Like
bro.
I love that because when I was reading the chapter, one of my homies is like, "This is us every week reacting to One Piece."
Yes, for real,
Basically, yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Man,
Yeah.
it's
I
so good.
can't.
To me the one I was like actually taken aback by was when Luffy ran in thin air. That was crazy, bro.
Oh, dude.
That was insane. And like he said, like Mr. said in the chapter summary, like he looked like Apollo,
Yeah,
like
the
just
the sun guy.
uh yeah, like the sun, the true sun god.
Yep.
Is he his? Remember when I said like Luffy looks like some type of Greek
Yes,
mythological like
bro.
Yep.
deity?
That's exactly
That's the
why.
perfect
That's
one.
exactly why. Like when you brought that up last time, I was like, it's been racking in my brain, and I mean, Apollo is the sun god of Greek mythology, and like
And he's the
he looks like
messenger.
him. Oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah, the messenger, speedster, and stuff like that. Like, yo, that scene right there, because he also has, I think he has a chariot,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
With his
that.
chariot. Yep.
So
That leaves
yeah, that
fire in the air.
yeah, so that's insane. That's crazy. Like literally,
Bro,
that's pretty awesome.
Oda, beautiful,
It's
beautiful.
he's way too good. He's way too good. I think some lines were interesting in the official. Where like when Luffy's coming out of Gear 5 and he's like sitting down, he says kind of when he comes out of Gear 5, kind of like, what the hell are you? You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then Luffy says in the original in the TCB, he says, okay, you're right, I'm about to croak, but it's taking a lot. This is taking a lot out of me. In the official, he says, I was dying before this,
Yes.
like, which I was thinking about. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I've always been considering like what dying meant. You know what I'm saying? Like because everyone's like, oh, it took Luffy had to die for his fruit to awaken or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we have Zoro. Probably we're gonna have another piece of that whole dying thing when it comes to Zoro. Like how far do you have to go to the next world to be considered dying? Like Luffy's heart
True.
stopped, right? But I
True.
know
Yeah.
in real life, I think I'm not bugging. I feel like to say that people's hearts have stopped in real life and they come back like 10 seconds later or whatever, right? Um, so I'm really wondering like what the hell that means. I thought that was an interesting line.
It is.
Um,
yeah,
And
yeah,
then he also says once we're dead, the only thing that's left is bones.
and people have been equating that to the big
Beastaki,
yeah.
Yes.
Beastaki.
What like what do you
Yeah,
guys think of
I think that's true. Like I finally got around to seeing the Library of Ohara full-fledged theory and stuff like that, and uh I mean, spoilers to his theory or whatnot, but his theory is that like on the thing that Roger and them read on when they went to Laugh Tale, the thing that made them laugh and stuff was the Bink Sake song. Um and I don't know if that's necessarily the One Piece itself or not, but that like if Oda, he clear, especially these past few chapters, he's definitely been like, it feels like he's definitely referencing Bink Sake
A lot,
in these
a lot.
things. So like I definitely think that like there's definitely a correlation of some kind. Maybe the Bink Sake song is like maybe Nika, whatever, like, because I think we talked about it last time and we don't know if Nika actually existed or not in, or if that's like, you know, what they just happen to call whoever eats the devil fruit, like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
because it's based off of a mythological legend of some
right.
kind or some type of myth, like mythological usually, like because I looked up the difference between like what's the difference between a legend, a myth, and something else I forgot, but basically myths are more geared towards like religion, deities and stuff like that, uh because the Latin word is mythos,
Hmm.
and mythos is like word of mouth and stuff like that.
Yep.
So like
So, what if the Bing Sake is the word of mouth of the One Piece, and it's been passing
Oh,
on throughout this whole time? Because that's
yeah,
what just clicked in my head, bro. That's,
that's hit me. That's hit me
and
right now as you said it. Wow,
also, not just that, but think about who of the Straw Hats is gonna live forever. Brooke,
well,
true,
the
true,
bard of the
true,
crew, really. And what do bards do? Pass on through song history.
true. But then that gets into the distinction between a legend, and then a legend is like usually a legend is usually, I'll say usually, an exaggeration or some type of like glamorization of a historical figure of some type, right? Or
Hmm.
like some type of like not fully like you're saying you're lying or anything like that, because that would imply you're uh, like full-fledged deceiving people intentionally, but if you're like more or less you might have heard something and you believe it's true about this historical figure, like what they like I said, I was going to make a series about this, but I'll just talk like the legend of Whitebeard, for example, right? Like he like the build up to him, he's the closest one to the One Piece, he's going to get the One Piece, like that's like that's legend stuff, because
Yeah.
we know in actuality, even though yeah, that's true, he is the closest to One Piece, he doesn't necessarily want it.
No.
He don't care for it.
No.
Um, so that would be like the distinction between like a mythos and a legend, because mythos is pure word of mouth. Like there's no like actual verification you can like actively look into to like see if it's true or not. It's pure word of mouth. Whereas a legend, there are historical records. This figure has existed or might have existed. Definitely there's like some type of tracking. But as far as like everything about the legend, we can't verify every single thing whether it's true or not.
yeah,
So yeah.
and just look at the uses of the words, right? Like when you someone has some sort of idea about like if you eat carrots it helps your eyes get better. I don't know if this is real or not, but so you could someone will be like, oh, that's a myth or whatever, right? That is like the connotation is that it's not real, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's like it's Husu mentioned like the long distant past, it was something they would pray to. So like even back then, it was some idea of some god. You know what I'm saying? Um, it wasn't like a fish or tiger type situation where they know someone is out there saving people.
Hmm.
They're like they're praying to some god. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a last ditch effort to them. So
Yeah,
I, I
exactly.
I've kind of like I remember last week I was really like 'cause I was looking in the I was in like the rush of thinking of everything and I was like wait this is like it really might have just been Joy Boy back then, but now I'm thinking like yeah you know it could be either way, and that Sangadika might have existed super long ago. Um, I just think man, I really hope at the end of like One Piece, I just want to have a clear picture on the history of like all the races and where the sun god idea has come from. Because I was super interested in like how I talked about how the snake, that's what they refer to the snake on Skypia as the sun god,
The sun god,
right?
correct?
Yeah, that's
Um,
right. That's right.
There's a sunlight tree Eve. There's the people from the moon. If you look at Enel's cover story, right, the how they have like the Skypians people on the moon hieroglyphics, and how they went to the blue planet, which is obviously Earth, for resources and stuff like that. So, and then Lunarians, how they were like revealed as, they were revered as some types of gods. Or they said gods used to live up in the Red Line, according to Marco, right?
Hmm.
Um, so there's just so much. I feel like we're getting to like a peak now of all the mythology and all the ideas and stuff coming to a head in this arc. So I hope Oda like doesn't like keep us hanging. I hope he at the end of Wano he just bro here's almost everything about One Piece. Like I'm praying for that because I feel like it's coming soon. I don't know. I'm
Oh
Bro,
sorry.
yeah, definitely.
dude,
Most
not just
definitely.
that, but real quick, like Oda has been hinting so many things in Skypia. If you look at my stream real quick, you can see Luffy inside the eyes of the sun god snake.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
My man Kashi, yeah, that's great. And he's a blue snake too, and Kaido's a blue dragon.
yes, like all these things, like it's ridiculous how meticulous and fucking detailed Oda is from so many years ago. Like, how do you retain all this in your head, bro? You know,
Yeah.
like, and like come up with it. It's oh my
like
goodness.
like I said, like you know that meme with the board and all
Yeah,
the
the guy with the board on, like he's like,
yeah,
hey,
like
yeah.
Yes,
that's Oda.
with
That's
Charlie
literally
Day.
Oda.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, definitely. Yo, I love that meme. And then
yeah,
Yeah,
like that's Oda.
and then
That's
their eyes popping out in Skypea when they're falling down. Everyone's eyes popped out. Now that's a gag that's coming back again. Like like that's
yeah,
old,
wow.
like, like, oh man.
and I think that like also we should give credit to because I think a lot of times when we read One Piece, we always think of that like that meme I just talked about with the board and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I gotta give shout outs to Oda's like because honestly, like not every single thing in One Piece was planned.
No, of course.
100%,
Like
100%.
yeah, so supernovas, the creation of them, they weren't planned. Some of the warlords, I think, were planned. Hell, um, One Piece at one point was like said to us supposed to end in Alabasta,
Oof,
and like
my
as
goodness.
Oda, yeah, and that's crazy to think about,
It
right?
is, it is.
But Oda kept expanding and expanding. He's like, you know what? I want to do this instead. I want to do this until we get to this point because I'm pretty sure Oda had a picture of like all this, like the core things, at least
Yep.
I should say, like the core things that he wanted to get across in his manga. However, the steps to getting there was probably a lot of improvised things where he's like, "Oh, wait, you know what? I want to do this, and wait, hold on, I want to do this, and then this." Like he probably got a bunch of ideas. I think Oda's like a very creative mind where where his imagine he lets this is the type of manga where you can let your imagination run wild
Yes.
with like the things that you want to do, and because of the type of manga that he wanted to create, he's not restricted to like the rules of his manga because the manga is inherently like very free flowing, just like Luffy's Devil
Oh,
Fruit.
always
Like,
adapting, bro. Always
yeah,
adapting.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like exactly. Like my buddy who's big into like fantasy books stuff like that, and he watches a lot about I think how the authors think and talk about the ideas and creations of books, and he was telling me about how there's architects and there's like seed planters, and there's like so it's like seed planters, like you let it build and build, and you see where it's all going, and you connect branches and stuff like that. While architects have like it built out step by step by step. They know where. I think he's probably a mix of a little that bit of that of both, right? Like how he has these ideas that start out. And then he's like, you know what? I think I can link this here, and I think this fits in here. And then, but obviously, he has the ones that he's been building and building and building for like, there's like the sun thing has probably been a thing from like the jump, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think he's just. I've been thinking about it more and more. Like this guy, I'm starting to put him in the same realm as all the best manga authors I've read. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've always like I love One Piece for how it makes me feel and stuff like that, and how hype I get. But like in terms of just the writing, he's like, bro, he's
Bro,
very very good.
it's
And
25 years, bro.
I was talking about how I feel like I just the number one thing for me is that the power style has to make sense for Luffy. And what was it? It was just it like it was literally just the Gear 5 it is as a rubber awakening as it gets, like I was saying earlier. So I'm super happy with how Gear 5 is, looks and feels. And even though I was saying like man, I would probably prefer if it didn't stay with the Toon world and stuff like that, bro. I'm chilling. This is hype, and it's funny, and it's just like
Oh,
Luffy. I
it's so
remember
funny.
I was looking back at people. I see people mad, people complaining about, oh, it's too goofy, like and
Yeah,
even I was saying in the beginning of the Kaido fight, I don't like how much Luffy is like buddy and laughing with Kaido. I want it to be like way more like serious and want to murk this nigga. Like we got that towards the end of the Gear 4 section.
Yeah.
And even now, Luffy is like getting serious towards the end of the chapter. How he's like he punches him and he's like, I'm having time of my life. Like he doesn't seem like he's aloof, right? So my point is that so that we got a little bit of that, but also if you look at Luffy just like it versus Arlong, the reason he was underwater and stuck was because he planted his legs down into the ground and then he like swung his hands or something like that to dummy like Arlong or the other guys, and like that's how Arlong picked up the ground and threw him into the water. And because Luffy was stupid enough to put his legs into the ground, he couldn't get out of it. That's why they
Yep.
needed to take turns trying to get him out of the water. So like
Yep.
this kind of clowny Luffy, like it's how he is. You know what I'm saying? Like it
It's
makes
always how he's been, bro.
yeah,
Always. Like,
exactly. I feel like it makes perfect sense.
and you know how they say that like when the Zoan fruits like the person takes on more attributes like more like become more of themselves really. Luffy's just being more of himself of like being as goofy as he can be and like
I think it was Strawhat
really
who said last time about how the you go into your base instincts more of the
yes,
animal, right?
yes,
They become monstrous and stuff, and
he
how
did.
this could be more of the joy. Like I was thinking about the ancient like the zones have a will of their own, but this could be like how like Strawhat said like
More than
how
just
the base instincts of the personality of Joy Boy or Nika, whoever it was, right? So that's super interesting too. Man, this whole fight has been. I think this is gonna be my favorite fight in One Piece. I'm not gonna lie.
right.
oof.
And like
Oof.
it, this like it also this whole thing like has also made me like kind of think back on the whole will of the devil fruits and stuff like that, mostly the Zoans and stuff like that. Um, but maybe you know, thinking about it, right? Zoans are the only fruits that are based off of living things.
100%.
Like so like I mean, not only are there animals, there's humans and there's deities and like the Buddha and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm kind of starting to think in the realm that like the devil fruits, I'm starting to like whether it's like by the hands of a deity or heck even like the void people from the void century or even before then, the devil fruits I'm starting to feel like were created.
I
It's like
completely agree with you, bro.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching a Tekken video, and he pointed out how there's a lot of man-made ideas that have to do with devil fruits. Like, I think I brought this up before, but it's Suru. I think the old lady, the marine, has a laundry like a laundry fruit. How like
Yeah,
they like put you up to
exactly.
dry or whatever. Like that's like a
Yeah.
purely a man-made thing, right? Like
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
It's a very like interesting thing, and I'm telling you, it's one of those things where it's like, yo, Oda just giving us a bit of a crumb. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, what is this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like you're like hinting at the craziest shit ever, but we're just getting crumbs and stuff like that, man. We got to put it all together soon, fam.
Uh,
Yeah.
do y'all think that Vegapunk is the one making fruits?
Nah, I think that Vega is the one that understands this. Maybe he figured it out, but
Okay.
I just think that there was at some point during the Void Century where I feel, or even before the Void Century, where I feel like the Devil Fruits in some type of way were created through means of either power or innovation, one of the two, or maybe both.
Hmm.
Um, like I remember a while ago where I said that like the Adam and Eve fruit, which I still believe are like the reasons that that like the devil fruits probably come from them.
Hmm.
Um, the Adam's tree is the most like durable tree, right, in the
Yep.
entirety of One Piece. Or no, the entire no, sorry, excuse me, the most durable material in the entirety of One Piece. That was what Gold Roger's ship was made out of. That's what Luffy's ship is made out of. If those trees bear fruit, you could probably put power in those fruit and they would be like durable or whatever, right? Or just reincarnate or something. We know that devil fruits reincarnate after the user dies. Now whether it's definitive, because we still haven't got a confirmation or not, this is just highly speculative, that devil fruits reincarnate within the next devil fruit that they see, or the next devil fruit that's similar to like their original design or something like that.
Yeah, like we got that
Uh,
little glimpse of it in Punk Hazard, right?
yeah, in Punk Hazard when what was that?
Smiley.
Yeah, just Smiley. Yeah, it when it was destroyed or whatever, it like reincarnated into like another fruit. It was I think it was an apple.
It was an apple. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it had the same like swirl patterns and stuff. But we don't know if its original thing was an apple, so therefore it went to the next apple, or it just went to the next fruit period and it took on the form or
I
whatever.
will say, I think it's interesting that like, I feel like if I maybe I'm recalling it wrong, but I think one of Caesar's men put that sack of apples there in that cart near Smiley before it died.
Yeah,
It was definitely something like Caesar planned. I feel like to have that Dodel fruit reincarnate in that bag of apples or whatever. So I think that's like an interesting clue that he knew it was gonna happen. And I also think that means I think another thing that is kind of glossed over from that point is that Caesar put that was actually a Zoan fruit. Funnily enough, it was the axolotl fruits. That's like some mini uh like animal thing, and Caesar put that into a batch of poison or something like that, right? That's how he made the slime, the slime thing. So he made that, and we know that Vegapunk is the person who created that method or whatever to put
Yeah.
devil fruits into things. So we know that Caesar probably knows a little bit about devil fruits. And another thing I wanted to get out was that, so if we look at Momo's devil fruit, for example, Vegapunk listed that fruit as a failure, but Momo has like seemingly now he has full control over it, right? Like he
He getting there.
transformed.
He getting there.
He's getting there.
yeah,
Like it's like much better than how he was in Punk
And
Hazard.
yeah.
So and we know that devil fruits take time to master, and we know like when Kaku was fighting Zoro, I believe he couldn't really 100% control. He was getting like a giraffe leg when he wanted a human arm or whatever. Like he couldn't 100% figure it out until the end, I guess. So my point is that clearly devil fruits take time to master, but Momo seems pretty well. We haven't seen him shoot fire or anything, but he can create clouds, kind of.
Kind
Maybe
of.
that's. I was basically my point is I'm trying to wonder what makes it a failure because I don't did we see like did Vegapunk have a test subject before that where he saw someone, you know what I'm saying,
It's
like
possible.
someone had to eat the fruit, right? Like,
That's true.
or did he base it a failure off some sort of dynamic property that he couldn't either replicate or that kept manifesting that he didn't want? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think we got to learn that too. Like, what made that fruit a failure? We still don't know. We still can't say for sure at least.
That's true.
yeah,
That's fine.
100. I think that like because I also remember talking about because heck, you could feed devil fruits to inanimate objects,
Hmm
right? So
Which still doesn't make
like
sense to me. I'm just saying.
It
Like,
makes it makes it a Vegapunk, Monica. That's all I need.
yeah, exactly. That was like Vegapunk discovered that tidbit. And so maybe the reason why he figured that out is probably the same reason why devil fruits are based off of inanimate like things too. Like and humanistic characteristics like you just said, like with the laundry fruit and like all this other stuff. Like you think about it, devil fruits are kind of like, I think it feels like they're a product of some type of science
Kind
and
that's
or
probably all in the voice entry, bro. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like the fact that like okay, Zoan fruits, they're based off of like living things, so maybe they figured out how to put the souls of living things, whether it's animals or whatever,
yeah,
into devil fruits. Same thing with humans. That's why there's a human fruit. There's like,
multiple.
yeah, multiple human fruits, multiple like deity fruits based off of like some type of like, I don't know, like it could be based off of a race too. Like I don't know, like just putting the souls of things that were alive or can be alive in Zoans, putting like engineering devil fruits that can take on properties of nature in Logias, and then everything else that doesn't qualify for that, they can engineer it to be in Paramecius. I don't know. So
Kind of like
it,
unknowns in a way. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, because Paramecia is basically everything that's not a Logia and Zoan. Like that's literally the
Yeah, literally,
explanation.
it's the other category.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
literally the other. So like maybe Paramecius, because I mean Paramecius' range is incredible, and like you got like stuff from, like you said, laundry to like being able to age people
Yep.
to Law's devil fruit. Like
Whatever that shit is. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know
That's
how you
true.
can.
That's true.
Yeah.
How do you explain Law's devil fruit, bro? That's just ridiculous.
Literally, bro. I had my understanding is that he can do whatever he wants in the room. That's my understanding, bro. Like, ever since he pulled out the Rosinante's ability on Big Mom, it's over for that fruit, bro. He can do whatever the hell he wants with that shit, bro. It does not matter, bro. Like,
Imagine if Law. Oh my gosh, this is like a kind of a tangent, but imagine if Law could create a big room, right? And like he walks into the room and can transform himself.
he just becomes Sun God Nika, like versus.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Bro, I couldn't believe it, bro. Honestly, bro, like he could do whatever he wants, bro. It is insanity, man. It is insanity.
He
But
could he could, because technically he probably could augment his body, right? Because he's a doctor, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
therefore he could augment his muscles or whatever, or to speed and stuff when he's in the room. That like I dedicate this to Luffy, and then transforms like something like
my best
that.
friend. Oh man, no, I can see it, man. But speaking of the Sun God, actually, I wanted to talk about how Luffy used the like gum gum balloon in this chapter. I thought that was like, do you guys remember last time? I don't remember last time we used it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
it's been a
maybe
while.
last time, literally last time I remember is like when he saves Ace from Sengoku. That's the last time I can remember, bro. Like,
The last
I
time I
can't. I can't
remember,
remember.
the last time I personally remember is when Luffy was at Punk Hazard.
okay,
He
that's another one.
he took the bullets, and he said he learned through the time skip not to just aimlessly like shoot the bullets anywhere or whatever. He was like he took his hand and he was like aiming, and it was like
Oh,
a
I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah. That was pretty
yeah.
funny because that's what got him in trouble at the Verati. Yeah, that's
Right.
actually pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this. I feel like I remember saying that I like the Big Mom fight because the Luffy and Kaido fight was more about haki and stuff, and the Big Mom fight was all about Dofus. But clearly, I was bugging because this has
It
become
changed, bro.
it
It
changed,
changed.
man.
It's
It became a very
everything. He
it
said,
became
"Yo,
a,
I'm
yeah
giving you
everything.
everything, guys."
Hockey conquers devil fruits, like it's everything. So I thought like I think we'll have to see. I remember bringing up how Luffy said last chapter I can fight a bit longer, and now he ran out of Gear 5 after getting hit by the World's Conquest Ragnarok. So he has to bring it back up. Oh, which this confirms another thing. He knows how to use it, right? Like he knows
Yeah.
clearly how to bring it back and how to make it happen, which is something people were thinking about. How like it could be one of those things that just happen. Like I was reading, for example, I was reading Zatch Bell recently, and for them to use their final spell, Bowser Kedga the Dragon, they have to like build up. They can't just use it off rip. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
people thought it could be something like that.
Yo, I just thought of something.
Talk to me, dog. What's up? What's up?
I just thought of something. What if the reason why Luffy can even transform into Gear Fifth at will, and the whole time like he was dying and stuff like that, and the reason why like he got attained Gear Fifth? What if it's because he moved his heart to like maybe he was when he was dying he was thinking about Bink Sake, and so like his heart was going to the beat of Bink Sake.
Bro.
And because in this chapter he was like he was like what's the heart what's the beat what's the heartbeat again, and he
Yeah.
was like yeah that's the one yeah like yeah
In
like
in the official translation, he says, "Come on, heart, hit that beat," and
right
then
yeah
he's like, "Yeah,
like
that's the sound," and he starts, he's like, "All right, we're
yeah
Oh
going in."
yeah.
yeah
That would be insane, bro. Even more connections to the Big Sake. Yeah, dude. The drums liberation, man. Oh man. there's so much we don't freaking know, bro.
Right.
So
Oh my
much.
I
god.
There's so much we don't know.
know.
Oh, I was thinking about, it's always the Jump Liberation. I'm like, what the hell does that mean, bro?
I mean,
Like,
anything.
it could, yeah, it literally could be anything, or it could be as simple as it's the sound Joy Boy's heart be made, and so when he liberated niggas, as they call it, the Jump Liberation. That's what I would guess right now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I can't wait
Like
till we hear that. Till we hear the. Do they
I
have
know.
that already? The
No,
drums or
no,
not? Not yet.
there
Oh
is
man.
the soundtrack that like the Toei accidentally dropped. Well, I don't know if it was accidentally they dropped the Wano soundtrack, and then the soundtrack there's two songs called, one of them's called Luffy's Awakening,
Oh my goodness.
and the other one's called,
Spoilers.
I know, man, I know, and the other one's called, this actually came out before last
Uh,
chapter, so
oh
like
man.
we didn't, we got, like, technically it got, like, I got spoiled on the Awakening. I knew it was the Awakening before last
Okay.
chapter, but so they call it Luffy's Awakening, and the other one is called, I actually work out on this track, it's called Awakens Luffy's Performance, and it's pretty drum heavy, so
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
Oh, I can't wait, dude.
You,
This
could
shit.
you could listen to it to get a little bit of a preview if you want. That
This
shit was
shit animated is gonna hit so hard, and I love that they gave us some form of confirmation on Luffy's new color scheme.
Yes,
The all white. I love it. I love
yeah.
it so much.
yeah. People were
Oh,
saying, "Oh, we got it all wrong. It's not Super Saiyan. It's Ultra Instinct."
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Even
pretty good.
better, baby.
That's actually pretty good. But I think that actually reminds me is that, so Luffy's eyes are like completely different. Like if you look at the panel where he falls out of Gear 5, um, you could tell his eyes literally change in that. So his regular one is like a black pupil. There's
Oh,
nothing.
I see.
But his new one has a ring.
Under
His
like
pupil
the
becomes
Rinnegan,
smaller,
bro.
but yeah, exactly. But I think it's called Solera or whatever, like becomes like a ring. And there's a few characters who have that kind of eye pattern, and
That dude.
it's a very funny like
That dude.
set of characters. There's a lot of characters, bro. Emu in the world government, right?
Okay.
It's gonna kill you who I name.
Oh shit.
Zunisha is pretty humble. That's
True.
whatever. Zunisha has that eye when they show him looking at Jack through
True.
Momonosuke sees that, and then Mihawk has that eye pattern.
Yes, he does. Oh my god.
And the last one is very funny. When Cavendish uses Hakuba, his eyes become like that.
That's true.
So a very interesting set of characters. Hakuba and Cavendish and Mihawk are honestly pretty out of place there.
And the unknown guy that was on top of the tower. He had like 3 rings.
Which dude? I can't remember.
The one on top of the throne. My bad.
Im. That's what I mean. That was the first person I named. Yeah,
okay,
Im.
okay. Oh, that was his
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, that's all good. But yeah, so that's a super interesting one, right?
Yes.
Someone from who presumably has some sort of the most powerful person in the world, right? In terms of what they're standing or whatever, right? So I think that's kind of interesting. Like I feel like that's like a low key detail that Oda has. Is that, like, do you think he's gonna expand on that? It's going to be like an actual
think-
defining interesting. I feel like it's like too like yo, his eyes are complete. I don't know. I feel like it's too important of a.
I think it is important. So one thing I noticed, I play Hades and I like Greek mythology and stuff. You know who has those type of eyes? Cerberus. Cerberus has like rings on their eyes. So what if this dude that you guys talking about, Emu, actually has the Cerberus fruit, and Blackhawk is not Blackhawk, my goodness. Shout out Blackhawk. Blackbeard has to go and take that fruit from him. You know, I don't know, just ideas and stuff. But it's very interesting because like, how is this guy that we still don't know anything about? Like, what is his power? You know what I mean? The fact that the Gorosei bowed out to him and stuff, like, it's, oh my god.
Yeah, I
And-
find it very interesting.
I see some wild theories about Emu. Like Emu is secretly Luffy's mother. Like
Oh my
Shit.
goodness, no way.
That one, I think everyone.
And that's why fucking Dragon became the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Some Romeo and Juliet shit, bro. What's that story, baby? The sharks and jets gonna start coming. You see the government like, hey, and all the revolutionaries, like all the pirates, like start dancing. Like, oh my god,
Yo,
that'd be so funny, bro.
The capitalists are the new Willow Deaver, huh? Like, what's going on, fam?
There's literally just no information on Emu for real, other than like what we saw, and there's already so many theories about Emu that are like stretches of the imagination, like super far. But I mean, that's the beauty of One Piece. You you get a hint of something, and then everybody has like 10,000 like ideas.
Resin
So,
fruits, Wisdom King, Sun Wukong fruit, yep, all that stuff, man.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think another secondary thing actually has to do with his eyes again is that his eyebrows like become like bushy
Curly.
and swirl.
Yes.
Yeah, and the curl like, specifically, right? And it's like similar to Sanji's. Though I will say Sanji's they go one way, right? I don't know which way it is, but like either I think the right one goes towards his nose and then the other one goes outwards, some shit like that. I don't remember. But notably, his siblings have the opposite direction, right? Like they that goes the other way. So I think
Didn't
that is it.
Sanji's eyes change when he
Yes,
went right?
yes,
It did.
yes, they did. They went the other way, which is interesting. So,
Yes.
and Luffy's though, notably has like them both going towards his nose, which is not. I don't think the German do that at all. I think they either one way or the other, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a swirl this way and there's a swirl on the other end. So Luffy's the swirls are towards his nose, both of them. So I don't I brought up this theorist in video before, but the best generation he made a video about a ton of stuff like Vegapunks and the ideas of devil fruit stuff like that. The Vegapunk's history, and in it he talks about how the swirl pattern is very important. And one thing I was talking to my homies about after 1043 was that we went into like a whole ton of devil fruit ideas and theories, and I noticed that I think you brought it up how Blackbeard and Luffy's fruit are like look the exact same, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, they got like
Oh, dude, that's the
a
same
very
swirl on his fruit.
All the devil fruits have that swirl. All devil fruits have that swirl.
Okay.
yeah, but it's like the color
Color
scheme.
scheme. It's just Blackbeard is way more like Juddy and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
And
just
inverted
yeah,
and shit, yeah.
Luffy's is super spherical.
Looks like a fruit, yeah.
Like and what's his name? Blackbeard's is like jagged and
But yeah,
stuff
so
like
there's
that.
a ton of stuff that I feel like Devil Fruit they all have that swirl, right? And I think one idea Best Generation had is that like we've seen these swirls before, even that's not on Devil Fruit, and it's interesting is that in panels in which like there's like a lot of human emotion, either negative or bad, like you see in the background of these panels, it's like small, like it's just like a color scheme thing, or like you see like the swirling background of like really when someone's like really stressed or really some sort of emotion. It's you guys, I'll link the video, you guys. I think it's like my favorite One Piece video I've watched, to be honest, because it's so like when you watch, when you watch some videos and someone brings up an idea and you're like, wow, that's so obvious that I have to believe it now. You know what I'm saying? It was
That's
one
why
of those videos.
that's why I don't
So
like watching too many videos sometimes. Cause
I
then
know.
like
I feel like this spoils some of it for me. So I'm not gonna lie. I get if you don't watch it. But
yeah.
anyway, he brings up the swirl idea, right? And Momo's fruit and Momo's fruit as a failure, notably, did not have those swirls.
Okay.
So I think that's super interesting. Like I'm like
What
so
if that was what Vegapunk was like?
yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
not
saying.
a
Like
physical copy, you know, like
yeah, exactly. Like it didn't have the swirls, and I think that must mean something. Like okay, now that I talked about it, and you mentioned the Germa thing and how Sanji's flipped mid fight,
yeah.
like and they're back to normal now, by the way.
Yeah.
I think like that has to be another interesting thing that is not like it's not like some small thing. I think Oda's also going to go into that and what that means for the story and whatever, because it's in too many like interesting things to not be a big thing.
That's true.
Especially considering whose devil fruit has those eyes and the eyebrows that we've seen on only certain figures. Like, I definitely think. Oh, and another reason this is important is because Judge worked with Vegapunk, right?
And Queen.
And Queen, and I think that's just it actually. And so Maz, the scientist group, they all went on to do different things. They all went on to do completely different things. Queen made chemical weapons that target your lineage factor, your DNA.
Oh.
Judge altered his children's DNA, their lineage factor, to make super soldiers. And now that's so Best Generation in this video he brings up how um the devil fruits and stuff like that might have some sort of lineage factor altering thing about it. Like that's why, because that's like all these guys have worked on it and have come away with some of that group working on lineage factor. So if we assume the same is for Vegapunk, that means like that could mean that he was working with that. And another thing is that when Frankie goes to the when he gets teleported to Karakuri Island or whatever, the Vegapunk's old village or town or old country, and he goes to his lab, he sees that Vegapunk was already working with human cells.
Yes.
So that's already an interesting part of Vegapunk's research. So
yo, really?
yes, he mentions human cells when he's looking at the blueprints and stuff like that. So all this stuff is like Like I'm telling you, the video, I'm like when the video points the shit out to you, bro, you're like, oh my god. So
It's
anyway,
definitely. Yo, link that to the
Yo,
chat so that our
oh
audience
yeah,
can get it
100%,
too.
100%, 100%. It's
wait.
bro, I'm telling you. When I'm like, I could tell you right now that she's in the video. I want you guys to watch. So I won't say it, like all this stuff. But I see this stuff and I'm like, yeah, I think this is just facts. Like, I think all the stuff he says about Vegapunk, like the way maybe there could be a few reaches, but like the logic and like I told you, we like that stuff wasn't even just an
Please,
extrapolation. They're just facts. Like the
please give
I
me
tell
that
you, it's
video.
literally my
Give me
Yeah,
that
video.
video.
Strawhat needs
Literally,
that
it's
Give me
now.
it's
that
my
He
video.
needs
video.
to
I got
inject
you,
it
bro.
inside
I
of
got
him,
you,
bro.
bro.
He's
I
like,
got
yo, I
you,
need that shit.
Please.
bro.
I'm gonna have so much fun at work tomorrow. I'm gonna be listening to this while
It's
working.
bro,
Like,
it's I'm telling you, this video, like I think I can just have a mod, right? So I can just put it in there, nice. So I put it in chat. I'll DM it to you,
Thank you.
Straw Hat. So
no,
like
no.
I'm telling you, man, like so now and so he talked about he talked about the importance of these swirls, right? And how
Yes.
often we see them. And so my point was that but the Mads thing in the scientist group was that so these people who come away from working with the genetic factor and stuff. Now Judge goes on to work on the lineage factor of his own kids,
Yep.
and it gives him that swirl, and it messes with the direction. Him and his wife Sora don't have the swirl. It's not a genetic thing. It's not something that comes from their family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
clearly an imprint of them messing with the lineage factor. And now that I just think it's a fact that Vegapunk was working with human cells and lineage factor, they all were, and they all came away from that project or whatever they're doing with that. So he goes on to put that into his devil fruit or whatever. And he's like, I can't get the swirl pattern on this devil fruit. That must be important for some reason. Hey, this is why it's a failure or whatever. And so and then the best generation extrapolated the idea that so maybe devil fruits alter your lineage factor in some sort of way. That's why like whatever. And Luffy is giving these eyes, which are only on Imu and Zanisha, right? And Mihawk and Cavendish, but that's not as important. And yeah, and then the eyebrow thing, I just think it's too much of like a it's too much to
Oh my
there's way
Yo,
gosh.
more.
do you guys think we might get a Cavendish versus Mihawk fight?
Hell no.
No?
I think it's Cavendish gonna be like the Hakuba thing.
No, yeah, the Hakuba form versus Mihawk. I think it wouldn't be a
Maybe we
terrible
can
sword
we can
fight.
definitely see that.
Yeah.
I feel like why not, right? Like if
Why-
Cavendish runs up on him one time, like he's like, I want the fame of being the #1 swordsman. Like that you could we could all see Cavendish doing that, right? Like chasing the fame and challenging Mihawk or whatever, and then he just gets smoked. Like
Maybe
I
that's
just
just so left field for me. Like Cavendish,
I agree though, yeah.
I just like
Cavendish,
the idea of
like,
different sword styles fighting against each other. You know,
100%.
because
No, that's
he got
facts.
the
I think-
rapier and stuff. So
I just think that's so much of a wash that I don't know why Oda.
Yeah, it's so free.
I just don't know why Oda would expand on that. Like
Yeah,
that,
and it's like if we see like in the news like like hot like Mihawk and Mark Cavendish, it's just like oh big fucking surprise, bro. like yeah, like oh my god, I'm shocked. Like this is the news I've been waiting
Right.
for all of Wano.
But
Cavendish lost to Mihawk.
like,
but the
even when he
Hakuba form
went-
is pretty strong though. Like
Facts.
the
it's
Hakuba
unknown.
form-
It's unknown.
I mean, it's
There's a reason it was introduced.
It's not even. It's strong. Don't get me wrong. It's technically strong,
Yeah.
but like the thing is, just like for our standards, it's not strong because, and the reason why I say that is because, like, come on, Robin was able to catch him. Like when he was like trying
That's
to
true.
blitz Robin was like, listen,
Hold on, nigga. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
she was
true.
like, speed and strength, you know, if you don't work on me, which is actually not true. Speed and strength does work on her. You just gotta be you just gotta be strong and fast enough to oversee that thing. But if you're like if you're getting caught by Robin, not to say
I
that
agree.
Robin's
You're right,
weak
you're
or
right.
nothing like, but you're just not in the top tier. You're not even considered in the top tier. Like that means your speed and strength just can't handle, because like otherwise Robin would literally be the most strongest on the crew, and she could take Zoro, Luffy, which we know is not true. They're way too fast and strong for her. And other figures are way too fast and strong for her. And I think they said that's the weakness too, because her devil fruit strength, unless she like makes multiple big arms or whatever, her devil fruit strength is tied to her strength.
Yeah.
So, and her speed and stuff. So that means she's legit reacting to Cavendish like that. That's crazy.
That's not a good look for my man Hakuba.
That's like I like nah.
What if Robin always has like little eyes everywhere, so she sees everything? That's why she's able to react quickly.
Even
That'd be pretty cool.
Even if that's the explanation as to why, that still doesn't look good.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
it's just
let's get off
This
that
is no
subject.
way.
This is a crazy tangent to the idea that anyway, that small group of people, Haku, but Yaku, Yahag, and them have those eyes is definitely something interesting with the Sun God fruit. Like this is the fruit of the series, clearly, right? Like the most ridiculous power in the world. So and from the voice entry too, like we know that. Well, I guess this is the second fruit that we've confirmed is from the voice entry. I was gonna say Toki had her fruit in the voice entry,
Yes,
because she obviously is from there. Oh my god, that's another very interesting thing that we're just not gonna find out about until for a little while. I feel like.
bro,
Uh,
bro. 'Cause, I know we were talking about being sake, right? What
mhm.
if? Because it seems like it comes off a little bit like a prophecy, as well.
It definitely does, yeah.
So
Now,
what if like that shit came from the future? You know what I mean? Like or something. I don't know. Like especially with Toki and everything. Like you never
well,
know.
I'd rather. Okay, I think coming from the future is like a too crazy of an idea, and also I feel
Too
like
crazy.
when you go to the past, I feel like in like fiction and stuff like that, it's like way less. It's way more messy than going to the future.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
like you could alter stuff and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then you have to figure out the idea of like alternating timelines, blah blah blah, which is the Trunks thing, right? So, um, I think honestly, it just being from the past is fine because or like
And
if
being
let's
a
say it's like
prophecy from the past. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
exactly. Like let's say
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like let's say it's like some uh let's say it was created by someone who knew Joy Boy or who understands the history or whatever. And like Joy Boy wanted to do something and we know he failed because of Fishman Island. Um he had an apology to the Poseidon of that time.
yeah.
So but he left the poneglyphs and this idea that Roger and them came to that something has to happen, like there has to be um some sort of not chosen one, I don't want to say, but like basically people have some roles to fill, right? And
A sovereign king.
sovereign kings, exactly, and they were too
Yeah.
early to enact this role.
Yeah.
So we know that obviously some sort of prophecy or some sort of like fortune telling thing, like something someone knows that in 800 years from now, from the voice entry, 800 years from now, which is now, is like we need people to step up at this time, right?
Yep.
So we already have some sort of prophecy, you know what I'm saying? So I think that Big Sake could most certainly be that because just look at the lines, fam. The drums, the drums, and once those happen, the morning sun will rise.
Yep.
Like Oda was on crack writing this shit, my nigga.
Bro.
He was linking everything, fam. Like it's gonna be
Also,
crazy, bro.
real quick. You're Date. I see you, bro. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you all, everyone in the chat for stopping by. I appreciate it, man. We've going hard for with 7 viewers, yo, consistently. I love
Yeah,
it, yo.
yeah.
Nice.
It's been it was a like I feel like One Piece now has so much like steam and momentum with the
Oh,
last few
dude.
chapters, and like I remember talking to my brothers and like once like I know people were feeling the raid fatigue a little bit with the Flying Six fights, but Sanji and Zoro got going, it just never stopped after that. We
Yeah.
got the Big Mom and Kid, we got this, you know what I'm saying? Even the Raizo fight was like it was like small, it was slow, but it was like it was a slow burn, no pun intended, but it was dope. I think what's something we haven't even mentioned in this chapter when Luffy gets like when he loses gear fifth, he says I'm beat. But then
Yep.
after that, Kaido takes a knee, and
He does.
and by the way, Kaido is panting the whole chapter.
Yes, he is.
Like from the
Huff,
first line,
huff.
from the
Yep.
first few lines, he's like huffing and puffing. Like the first line is him fucking like panting. So Kaido is clearly gassed now.
Yep.
I think this is it. This is the home stretch.
Yep.
Yeah, we finally after the first to 10 casuals, the grand finals, losers finals, and finally he's getting the money match, and
Yes, sir.
he's finally pulling through.
Kaido
And
didn't have his Red Bull, man.
So,
yeah,
do you guys think next chapter? Because we noticed that Oda likes to do 3 chapters, then he'll take a break, right? Like 3 chapters that go together.
There's gonna be a break, by the way. I'm just telling you that.
Next chapter is there's definitely gonna be a break, most likely. I'll put money on it.
No, there is. Bro, I'm pretty sure there is.
Okay.
oh wait, you saying like after
Will-
next chapter there is?
Yeah. So this chapter this week, and then there's gonna be a break.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Do you think that this fight will end in the next chapter? Because I know I asked this 2 chapters ago, and we said some of us said about 3 or 4 chapters. This is
That was the last chapter, right?
when yes.
When
So
Luffy went Gear 5. Yeah.
yeah.
And then was like 2 or 3 chapters. So that would be next chapter. But I could see it like happening I think 2 or 3 chapters because I think like Kaido, I feel like because the one thing I don't want from this chapter is Luffy to run out of gas, and that's why he I don't want it to be another ending of like Katakuri and him, where like it's about who doesn't run out of gas.
Yeah.
I want him to smoke Kaido.
I
You know
do.
what I'm saying?
That punch, the last punch was kind of nice though.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But I feel like if you just go Gear 5 and then Smoke Kaido, that's also not like I don't want it to go that way either. So not too easy, obviously, because he went through a lot to get here. But I feel like I want Kaido to awaken, and then Luffy has one last struggle, and then he wins. And I feel like that's too much for like one more chapter.
Okay, that's fair.
That's my thoughts.
For me personally, I don't think he'll lose within the next chapter. But yo, if what Morge says come like Morge, oh my gosh.
What's his
Because
idea?
Yeah, what's his idea?
not only is he not about to lose, he's Kaido's about to lose next chapter. He believes that Luffy's going to lose again. Like,
No way.
yo,
believes that?
yeah, he said he's going to explain it next week in a video why Luffy's going to lose.
I can't wait. I
Again.
can't wait for Tuesday, dude. It's gonna be a fire video.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And the only way I can see that happening is if Kaido's awakening was still like vastly better than Luffy's, and he beats Luffy again. But yo, if he beats Luffy again, I gotta I don't know. Like I'm not gonna be mad, but like that shit is going to just be hilarious to me because this is like I've never seen a shonen like character take so many L's. Like
no way. The main character Gear 5 in this moment, no way. There's no way he loses. And I think an interesting thing I remember reading was that Oda said like a few years ago, he's like, I have to think about an interesting way for Luffy to beat Kaido because it can't just be him having a stronger punch or whatever, right? And so I definitely don't think like it's gonna be something where he loses again. And I also think this is it. I don't think like I even in the beginning of the raid, I never really understood the idea that it would fail because I couldn't see because one core tenet of that theory was that Hawkins said someone's not going to make it. He calculated Luffy's percentage for like a month, right? For like a month and a half, something like that, and not for 2 weeks, which is when the raid is or whatever. So that was one of the core ideas that for this for that timeline is we have another 2 weeks, something like that. So it's gonna still fail. They're gonna regroup or something like that. I was like, I just can't see that happening in this moment because this is it, right? Like
this is it.
The war to put down Kaido. Orochi just got smoked like in the beginning of the raid where Kaido cut his head off, right?
Yeah.
He said we're going to get the ancient weapons. We're gonna go find One Piece ourselves, and then Kaido picks up the Onigashima and he says, "I'm gonna drop it on the Flower Capital." Like at that point, I feel like it was over. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no like if the raid failed and people unless they evacuated the Flower Capital, like that's the only way I can see it. Because which they haven't. Otherwise, thousands of people are gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So like
I think I can like if I and obviously I'm not more, so I can't like predict what he's going to say. But I feel like I know some of the core reasons why he may feel like Luffy will lose is because like two reasons. Like one, I said earlier, Kaido has yet to do his awakening, and it's a mythical fruit, just like Luffy's. So his could be a full-fledged transformation too. Just keep that in mind.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Because we know that Kaido's fruit is the fish fruit, right?
Yeah, mythical model Azure Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think would be his awakening? Aside, like, he's already a dragon. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like mythical zones.
What if he's already awakened? Agreed. But
they make a big deal about a character when they're awakened, or they visually tell you like, hey, this guy's awakened, like, or hey, they're about to awaken, or hey, this is awakening. Like they say. I think Oda does that too to make sure that no one gets confused as to thinking like who's awakened or not. Because honestly, if we didn't see the animals that impel down, like people say that they were awakened, will we really think that they were awakened?
Hell no, bro.
No.
Like, yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty sure Oda like puts the distinction like, hey, readers, he's awakened, like, or they're about to awaken. Like,
you're right.
Yeah. So
that's why I was confused. That's why I'm like, what if, because he's a Yonko, what if he's been awakened the whole time and just been
regular state, like
his regular state, just like bro, like Goku and Gohan training in the hyperbolic time chamber and just staying in Super Saiyan afterwards.
I think we got a clear look at his like defined zone forms, like his regular form, his zone form, and his hybrid form. I think I remember his hybrid was a big thing, right? Like
it was.
The chapter before, like when
I love drawing that one.
It was a silhouette at the end of the chapter. I remember we didn't. So we didn't even see it. So they're making a big deal of his form. So I think if he goes awakening, we're gonna see it for sure.
Right, because hybrid is the strongest form.
Mm-hmm.
And like if Kaido awakens, I'm like I honestly don't know what that would look like.
I'm
Look
I'm so.
like
Oof.
you look like Gyarados.
You already look like Gyarados, bro. Turn
I
into a
know,
big old magic card, bro. Just start
right.
flopping there.
Yeah.
But let me see. I just think that like the other reason why people could believe that maybe he'll still lose is the whole thematic thing. So every time Luffy finishes off an opponent or like he defeats someone, that the oppressor of whatever island, he has an audience to do it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like there's some type of thematical thing involved with the final punch of whatever villain on island that like signifies something. Like Morge breaks it down a lot in some of his older videos, but like to give a few examples, Luffy smacking a crocodile, uh, um it through the underground through the town up in the air is thematic to the fact that Crocodile likes to keep things hidden, and that's why the fight was underground.
And he
And
brought it
Luffy
to light.
punching Crocodile, yeah, he brought everything to light. Another one, Skypia is a more obvious one too. Hit NL, ring the bell.
Oh, bro,
Now
that shit gets me all the time, bro. I cry. I cry every time during that shit. It's just beautiful.
yeah, and another example, Dressrosa, Luffy smacking Crocodile. The funny, still a
Doflamingo.
warlord too. Oh yeah. Doflamingo smacking a warlord. Instead of upwards, he smack him downward because he's the king of hell, or like he's the fallen angel because he was celestial dragon, and those were like the quote unquote gods, angels, or whatever. He's a fallen
Yeah.
demon. He
Oh
said
man,
he's the
beautiful.
heavenly demon, and he
Heavenly
gets
Akasha.
yeah.
Beautiful.
So, what would be the
Goda.
thematic thing of? Yeah, I know, right? Goda,
Goda.
but
Go.
but what would be the thematic theme of Luffy defeating? I mean, not Crocodile. Kaido right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
How would that happen? Yeah.
yeah. So like, and plus, like Luffy usually people, uh, the villains that he fight, there has to be some type of way that the people, the inhabitants of whatever island, sees his victory so that they know that their oppressor is gone.
Yeah.
Bro.
And if he defeats them here, they will not ever know that like
Yeah, that's
Kaido
true.
was actually
Yeah. As
defeated.
long as they're
That's
on the
true.
skull,
That's
or
true.
even the life floor isn't enough.
Yeah. No, it's got to be the flower capital has to
It
has
has
to
to be
see
the
it.
flower capital. Yeah.
Or
That's what.
Luffy has to hit him so hard that he drops into the flower capital or something like that.
Well,
I don't know.
but that goes
Like,
back to what we were talking about. How remember how we were saying they put up the balloons that they're setting up? I feel like that's Oda setting up them somehow being able to
Yeah.
see.
Some backdrop or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
like the light from the balloons is shining and showing Luffy beating Kaido in the sky or some shit like that.
It could
You know what I mean?
be like honestly like I don't think it's gonna happen because they already showed the form, but like the giant form, it could be like a callback to Skypia where they see
Yes.
giant Luffy, but it's really a giant Luffy this time.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep. Yep.
Like it could be something like
Like
that. Like
like
so.
I don't know. What I was thinking, yo, Luffy hits Kaido so hard he reverts to a fish, and then all of Wano just fries him up and eats him because of the whole starvation thing. Like,
That's cursed, bro. That's cursed, bro.
it's fucked up.
bruh,
I know, but
I'm gonna drop hella skull emojis if that.
Hell facts,
no, but I
bro.
mean, because they talk about how he makes them starve and stuff. I don't know, just ideas like
Yeah,
that.
hell
Hey,
facts. If Pell
no,
didn't die, maybe, bro. But
that
Pell
is
didn't die, so these clearly niggas are not trying to do some crazy shit like that, bro.
It's fair. It's fair.
They eat this nigga,
Yeah, they
bro.
ate him,
What is
bro.
what is this?
that not gonna lie, that is one. I mean that would be a great thematic one, but that is also
And it brings
that is
back to the
very dark
beginning of
too.
Yo,
Odin.
facts.
That
It
is
is my
very
bad.
dark.
Yo, that's
It
going
brings
in right
up the fact that Odin defeated the big boar and then everyone feasted on it afterwards.
Wait, no, it lived. It
Oh,
lived.
did it? Okay, I thought they feasted. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
I'm going
lived. It
crazy,
lived.
bro.
It lived. My
Bro,
man is
too much
trying to
Attack
find
on Titan. My bad. My
trying
bad.
to find
I
the.
just
Yeah, he's
I seen
Attack
too
on
many
Titan.
things getting eaten, bro.
That's crazy, yo. You make us starve. Now we eat you. Like damn.
Yo,
Yo, that's why I turned into a fish, or they eat him as a
yo,
dragon. I don't know.
yo, this is a crazy day. Yo, this is a crazy idea, bro. Yo.
All right. Whew. Whew. I know.
Yo, that's
I get dark. My bad.
yo, that
Yo,
was crazy.
that it doesn't get more thematical than that.
Right?
Yo,
Talk,
facts.
but that is just so dark.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. If it was a
And then
different
Luffy's just
story,
there
I'd be
laughing,
like,
and he's laughing while taking a bite out of Kaido. Like,
chill, bro, chill.
oh, all right.
oh,
Oof,
that
my,
like One Piece would transform into a horror like manga.
Yo, I'm
Like,
saying, bro, like what
yo, this
genre is
promised
this, bro?
Neverland, yo, people eating people, like, damn.
You know what's funny? Wano actually probably had like one of the darkest scenes, like, it was when
It
people were
did.
starving, and, like when the mom was gonna like kill her baby because like they couldn't afford food and stuff like that. That shit was crazy,
So
bro. So,
it has to deal something like with that though. That's how that's what I'm thinking. Because they're
not as, maybe not as crazy as
not
you
as
said it.
literal as that, but you know,
I think the closest thing to thematical end would be somehow, some way, if like Kaido was boiled or something like that. I don't know, through Luffy's punch, or like somehow
he
Luffy
gets
punches him
roasted,
to
bro.
like, yeah, or so he's like in some type of pot that's boiling somewhere, and he happens to drop in it. I don't know, like
Look, we had that thematic conclusion with Orochi being set on fire by Khan.
True,
All
true.
right, like that last chapter. So I don't know.
I don't know what the thematic ending would be. Something along the lines of like Odin shoulder, because Odin was shouldering everyone and everything. Now Kaido can't shoulder something through Luffy's punch. I don't know. Like
Oof.
it,
It's a lot, bro.
I,
We'll
yeah.
see. Hopefully Oda won't get as dark as I did, but you know.
Boy, that was crazy. Like just, and then you got the laughing, like they just laughing while fucking up Kaido and eating them. Like, oh my
Yep.
gosh, that
Hey,
is
they already got the small fruits, bro. Shit, they already laughing anyway.
that.
Like,
You
yeah.
why Yhuss is like that?
There's no way you said that last part about the smile.
They already swallowed
This guy's
anyway.
on demon time.
Yo, Kaido been on Demon Time. I wanna know what you mean. Oh,
Bruh, I'm dropping hella skull emojis if I saw it. That is cursed as fuck.
He
Like,
said they already got a
oh
smile.
man.
Yo, are you Kaido, bro? Like, yo, are you the one laughing, bro? Like, yo. Oh
Oh,
my goodness, bro. Yo, this nigga snapped.
yo, my bad. Yo, yeah, that can't happen. Yamato can't watch that happen, bro. Yamato's definitely not joining the crew after that happens. Definitely not joining the crew after you're like, I don't know, you guys are gonna do this to me. Chopper's gonna feel some type of way too. Like, like,
can't stop laughing.
oh man.
Oh my
That was
god.
Oh
crazy.
god.
That was crazy. The second he said smile for you, he was bugging, man. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That was like
You brought it up, bro.
he's already on the he said smile. Oh yeah, that's the good. It's honest.
Oh man.
Oh
Anyway,
god.
anyway,
Oh shit.
what a chapter, right, guys?
What a goofy chapter and episode today, yo. Fucking I wish the whole crew was here, but you know. Yo, next week though. Next week is
Oh
definitely gonna be a
man.
big chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna see, and it's especially 'cause it's gonna be a break, so I think Oda's gonna go sicko mode. Honestly.
So
Yeah.
Any predictions before we end the episode?
predictions. Oh man, I don't know. I like my eating one. I might just be hungry right now. That's just me.
Yeah, same, bro.
Bro,
Yeah, you are
that one
fasting.
is
That is true.
that was like the craziest prediction I've heard in a while. Like, yo, that was
Man,
so
on the
crazy.
Reddit
No,
thread today, like,
thematically, like you said, it would be perfect though. Like it would be like, you know,
you
but
know, it would be, man. Maybe
It
that's for the
would be.
tone of the story, though.
I mean, and you know what's crazy?
maybe
In my
Jujutsu
mind,
Kaisen.
I can kind of picture it. I mean, he's a fish devil
Yes,
fruit.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
that's crazy to me.
Bro, it
Like,
turns into a
oh,
big old magic carp, huge, like the size of a fucking mountain, and Luffy just fries him up with his sun powers, and then everyone's like, "We eating, we eating."
but I don't want to believe that this is the literal, like this arc is the literal end of Kaido and we never see him again. I feel
No, I
like
like Kaido a lot. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
I I feel like we should still see him a little, even a little bit in some
Yeah,
shape or form.
I don't think he'll die. Um, also because I don't think Luffy has killed anyone. Like, but even other than that, like I feel like I actually remember watching a Moore's video like back in the day about how like Kaido, that's what he wants, right? He wants to die. He wants
yes,
some grand death for the sake of dying, right? And villains can't get what they want, right? So
of course.
uh,
Oh shoot! You know what? Actually, that what you just said is probably the main reason why someone could argue that Kaido actually will lose right here without like some type of like thematic ending because
Yeah,
he
exactly.
wants the grand
Yeah.
death, but he doesn't deserve it, so he just might lose here with no
He's
one
gonna lose
knowing.
in some
True.
dishonorable, not a dishonorable way maybe, but like in some like it's not gonna be like written about in stories or whatever. You know, like Luffy's not gonna kill him. He's gonna get put in impaled down and rot in jail, or you know what I'm saying, some shit like that. I guess
Also, what if Kaido just fanboys over Luffy, just like Katakuri did, and
okay,
then he's like,
I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot.
my
Like, is
friends
he,
and I, they brought it up to me, and they're like, yo, Kaido, because it's either he wants death or he wants Joy Boy, like it's either one of the two, right?
the thing is,
Kaido,
Kaido is like a villain through and through though. Like you know what I'm saying?
Agreed,
Like
agreed.
it's over this guy, especially like the way because like I think what I liked about last chapter was like it was a good reminder when he came down and he said, "All right, your commander's dead. Bring
Yeah,
Momonosuke and surrender. You guys are gonna be slaves, and this is
yeah,
how it is. So
that's true.
you gambled your rights. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's
You
like to
don't
lose a
you, you
war."
don't come back from that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I think it was a good reminder. This guy is a serious villain because I was
yeah.
saying I don't like how they're giving Kaido so much like Luffy's buddy and stuff like that. Like like it's F Kaido. You know what I'm saying? We need
That's
to
fair.
hate this nigga.
Fair.
I want Luffy to hate him too. So I could see like I could see I think he likes Luffy 100%.
Imagine asking someone called Joy Boy to hate someone.
Hey, no, he hated Doflamingo, bro. You can't tell me that,
He
bro.
did.
But
That's true. That's true.
so
He did.
I can't see Kaido like turning. I could see people who said like, oh,
Maybe
he's gonna do.
after, like, he's in prison, he becomes a fanboy after that. He's like, yeah, like, but definitely
Yeah, I
not
could see
before.
that. I could see that, and him wanting to see how far Joy Boy goes or whatever.
Yeah.
People think he's gonna like he's gonna turn around and defeat the Marines for them or something like that. It's like, bro, chill out, fam. Like,
No, Kaido can't have redemption.
if this happens, I need to be
No,
clipped on you.
after everything Kaido has done to Wano and its people, he cannot have any form of redemption.
I completely
and we
agree.
still and we oh, there's another reason. There's another reason why I could see an argument for why people might feel like Luffy could lose. We still haven't gotten the Kaido backstory yet.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
that's true.
like usually Luffy does not defeat the villain before there's some type of like backstory about them. No matter how minuscule it is, like Rob Lucci was very minor.
I mean, we
They
already got a little bit of Kaido, like a
We got
little
some
bit,
we got it bits and pieces
bits
for
and
sure, but
pieces
Yeah,
not
but that wasn't from his end. That was like from someone else's
from
end.
King's End. Yeah,
King's
yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then on top, like Crocodile, he just told his backstory. Like he didn't like we didn't like go into it. He just
Evil
told it.
monologue. He's like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
My
Uh
backstory.
I could see that being the end of next chapter though. Like the
yeah, we could definitely, I mean, we still have to get that expedition, but like I don't know. Maybe that could be a part of a prediction. Maybe next chapter we get a Kaido backstory,
Luffy's
or
about to attack.
the beginning of a Kaido backstory.
yeah,
At the end,
that's how I see it.
Like
yeah,
Luffy's
at
about
the
to
end of
attack, and then Kaido just starts having like flashbacks, and just like this, and then that's how we get his backstory.
Yeah, like we hear like he remembers something about Joy Boy or whatever. Like he's like, oh, this from like he's laughing so much, he's having such a good time. It's like, man, like this could have been me, nigga, or
Yep,
something like that.
yep.
But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I think that about wraps it up, bro.
yeah. This is a long episode, yo.
I didn't
Thank you.
expect it.
No, not at all. But yo, we did it, yo. We held it down, the three of us.
Another fun one, man.
It was. Oh man, but
yo,
thank you
Mister.
all.
That's gonna be a defining moment for you, bro.
That is literally in my mind, like, cause like that is such a like that would be technically perfect, but that's just
Perfect.
so
Perfect.
In a
dark.
different series, yeah.
Fucking Promise
I'm over
Neverland,
here.
baby. One
Yeah.
Piece edition, baby. Let's go.
Boy. I mean,
Oh,
and just to also say, we also had something similar. Dark. I mean, Big Mom. She literally ate
Yeah.
people
It's
without
happened
like.
before.
Yeah.
Just
So
saying.
yeah,
All
but
the people start eating all the
it was
Zoan
like
motherfuckers,
it
bro.
was implied though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like this guy's still
yeah.
gonna see them like munching on this nigga.
Yamato's running
Look,
away. They're like, yo, hide all the good
yo,
Zoan
he's too
types.
into it. He's too into it,
Oh, my bad,
bro.
my bad. All right, I can keep going. I can keep going.
All right.
But
All right.
yo, thank you
Yeah.
guys. Thank you all for stopping by. I will have this up on YouTube and Apple Pod, Podbean, Spotify, and Google Pod, and
Thank you.
Amazon Pod as soon as
Thank you.
possible. So.
Thank you for doing all that, bro. We appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
of course,
Thank
dude.
you.
I love doing this show. Like you guys, I was mad nervous today, but you guys helped me calm me down and everything. Like so, I
100%,
appreciate
bro.
y'all. Hopefully next week we'll be back. Our Captain Callie, he'll be back. Yo, he took a game off of Wawa yesterday,
Yes, sir. I
Yeah,
was
I saw
watching
that.
shit. I was
bro.
so sad how it
Beautiful,
ended.
bro. I was so hyped. I was so
Yeah.
hyped.
Shout out to Scotty Mac.
But
Fuck, shout
thank
out
you all
to
for stopping by, and we'll see you on next week episode. Woo! Peace.
Peace.
All right, peace, y'all.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was good. That was crazy.
Woo.